Okay, so today we're having the pneumatics training. Now I'm gonna go over there and show you some of the stuff that I'm really excited to learn. And also I have a semi idea about a pneumatics trainer. So let me know in the comments what you're interested in. But before we go on that tour, I wanted to ask you one question. So of course, inevitably we end up finding out we left two wires out. And yeah, Mary Bruce just did an awesome job of really making this super neat. And I've seen some of your panels that have spare wires kind of neatly looped up here. All right, are we overthinking if we add spare wires? Like, should you have the loop of spare wires up here on the door? Or do you just go ahead and break down and cut every tie wrap off if you miss two wires? Let me know what you think in the comments. All right, just walking through the registration area, got some cool giveaways and some swag. And if you didn't know it, this is put on by SMC and Shingle and Give, who is our distributor. And I love that they have kind of the individual show and tell table, because this is the part I really think as programmers or as electricians we need to work on. Is we'll remember, I know this is a solenoid, I know that, folks, but just imagine, we'll remember if we have a motor starter early on to buy a contactor. But we won't think too that, oh yeah, we need an overload to go with that. We need auxiliary contacts, we go with that. We need a way to connect the manual motor starter to the contactor, all the little pieces. So really, we need to talk about it. And I mean, I've done it before, is, we need one solenoid on our control panel. And we mount one solenoid, and we stick a little blue tape over the ports, thinking, we're protecting those ports, which of course means that we have no filters, regulators, anything on our setups typically. And also, I can't tell you the 6-digit machines I've seen that are waiting on a 50-cent fitting to get started up. And of course, the same as noisy electricity, we do need clean air. And really, I thought it was just a matter of selecting the right size filter, but yeah, looking at this chart, I got a lot to learn. And of course, we all work in dirty environments, and then we we purchase, whatever cylinder, but yeah, there's many different grades of cylinders and seals depending on your environments. Now, I understand the use for ionizers, for staticky stuff, but honestly, I've never had an application for these. Have you? And of course, a really big cost in most of our plants is air consumption. So got some ways here to save ourselves how much air we actually consume when we're operating our machines. Got some type of show and tell demos. I can't wait to play with this one. All right, I'm assuming this is some type of vacuum picker-upper thingamajiggers, but yeah, here's a good example. I can't wait to learn about this. I have no idea what that is. Of course, I always get excited anytime that we talk about improving maintenance and reliability. That'll be really cool. And yeah, reducing work hours, that's always exciting to all of us. And again, energy savings here. We can reduce our air consumption by 50%. That's the kind of stuff I want to start kind of highlighting for you. And then we kind of get into, this is the, this is that smaller room with the interesting wall on it. But yeah, in this room, they put a lot of the cooler new technology. So here's some electric actuators that we can put right in place of the cylinders. And if I understand correctly, when I say right in place, I believe these are the solenoid wires. And I think you just pop the wires off your solenoid, replace the cylinders, and pop these on. So looking forward to learning about that. And this is one thing I do not have anywhere in the training center, is any type of wireless type communications or networking. So maybe I ought to put this in here. And then of course, IO-Link is a really popular protocol now. So everything's popping on IO-Link. Now, arguably on the Rogue rig, I should have done something like this. Actually here, I should have done something like this where I could have grabbed some IO, had my solenoids. Probably should have, but maybe version 3 will do that. But yeah, a lot of cool IO-Link compatible products. I'll probably pick up a couple of these, stick on some of our machines. Just going through video comments before the training starts. And John Smith says, you said no one would watch your reality show, yet here we are. I don't know, John. I'm not sure I can keep this up, but also I don't know that this is that interesting.
Go into your FRL unit, you have what's called a lockout valve, right? So an OSHA lockout. So
45 minutes into it, I'm already learning a ton. Just this is a really cool item that I'd never seen before. Because I mean, plants that I always worked at, one, we're just trying to keep air pressure up. Even then, we're trying to keep like 120 psi. Well, we don't need to with these items, so we could put 60 psi into this, and you're going to get whatever pressure you want out. So this is a 2-to-1 one. So if I put 60 in, I can get up to 120 psi out at a local source. Pretty cool.
Basically takes an electrical signal and converts it to a pneumatic pressure. So whether it be 4 to 20 milliamps or 0 to 10 volts, we can change the pressure on the fly. So if you have an application that requires various pressures to do what you need it to do, this is a neat way to do it.
One of the better practices is a tube cutting tool. Who uses tube cutting tools? Thank you. This is absolutely essential. This isn't optional. It has to be done. The tubing to go into the fitting and seal correctly has to be perfectly cut at right angle, no angles at all, no burrs. Any pocket knife or side cutters or any other tool being used to cut that tubing besides a design tube cutting tool is going to add to waste. And yeah, your company can save the $8 it costs to buy a tube cutting tool. It only costs them $30,000 or $40,000 a year in leaks to save that $8.
All right, well, we're done with the pneumatics training. Anybody got any thoughts? Hearing none, I say it's time to go get a beer.